Hello, 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 Revive and Thrive women. Happy Monday. How is everybody doing? I am going to wait just a couple minutes. Some of you pop in, say hello. If you have never been on a live stream with me, hello and nice to meet you. My name is Cassandra. I'm the founder of Revive and Thrive Women, and I am so excited that you are here. Make sure to say hello in the comments. Let me know you're here. And if you have seen me before, come say hello as well. If you are watching this live stream on replay, you can engage in the comments and I will come back and comment with you and engage with you. And I'm really excited for today. So today is day one of the Antistress Summit. Drum roll, day one. The Antistress Summit is a virtual event that I will be hosting every single day this week. And every day I will go through a topic, how you can use practices to help support your workday and to help support your stress levels. Every day is going to be a different topic and a different practice. And this virtual summit is happening this week, gearing towards the opening of Burnout To Breakthrough, which is my 6-month group program that is starting on Saturday. I am so excited. I'm so excited for the women who have joined. I'm so excited for the ones who are going to be joining in this week. And so every single topic that I am going to be talking about in this week's Anti-Stress Summit is an entire module that I teach inside of that program. So I'm going to give you little bite-sized pieces of wisdom today. And just know that if you want to go deeper into these topics, and I recommend you do, especially if you're somebody who has a high stress job and is experiencing burnout, then the program Burnout to Breakthrough is going to be where you can continue to receive support from me. So that being said, today I am going to talk about an anti-stress morning routine and what that means and why it's important and how you can start incorporating one today. So for those of you who have been following me for some time, you know that I speak often on the importance of having routines in your life. Routines help to establish a homeostasis. They help to eliminate decision fatigue. They help to eliminate energy being poured into going back and forth on decisions. If you have routines in place, you just know what you're going to be doing in the morning, you know what you're going to be doing in the afternoon, and you know what you're going to be doing in the evening, and you don't have to think much about it. And that is incredibly helpful if you are somebody who already has a ton of decisions that you have to make in your corporate job, or if you're a mom like me, that role comes with a million decisions to be made. So before I go into today and what I want to teach you, I just want to make sure that all the tech is working because today's the first day that I'm going live on a different platform. So I'm going to check the chat. And if you are here live, let me know. Let me know that you can see me, you can hear me, everything's good. And then we're going to dive into today's topic of creating an anti-stress routine. All right, looks like things are good. Okay, ladies. So the first thing I want to talk about is what your routine might currently look like. Oh, hello, Devin is here. Amazing. Okay, so good. All right. So a lot of the women that I speak to on a weekly basis talk to me about their routines or lack thereof. One thing I hear common from a lot of the women that I meet with is that they feel as if their day is happening to them versus them being in control of their day. So if you can relate to that, let me know, put in the chat, because I think a lot of us feel that way sometimes where we just go through a day and at the other side of the day, we're like, what just happened to me? Like, I don't really feel like I had a lot of control over how the day went. So anti-stress routines can help you to regain control over your day. And I'm specifically in this training going to talk about anti-stress morning routines because I think they're the most impactful. And just know that, again, if this is something that you're interested in going deeper, my Burnout to Breakthrough program is where I go through all of the routines and all of the things that you can do. But today we're going to focus on anti-stress morning routines because they are so important. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm going to give you a little bit of my background, and this is going to relate to this topic. So I worked in the corporate space for almost 10 years. I graduated from college, got my first corporate job, climbed myself up the ladder. I was a director of operations at my company when I hit burnout pretty bad. And what that looked like for me is I was exhausted all of the time. I was dreading going into work. I felt so stressed out at work. And a lot of that was coming from, first of all, the job was just stressful, but then also I was the youngest female on my team. And I always had this like imposter syndrome kind of going on in the background, which actually continued to grow as I continued to be promoted, because I kept thinking like, do I even deserve this? Like, is this happening? You know, like sometimes we feel that way, right? So I worked in the corporate space for many years. I hit pretty severe burnout at around 2017. And that didn't look pretty. And then I spent a couple years recovering from burnout. When I was recovered from burnout, I actually continued to work in corporate. I was promoted to the VP of the company, and managed a $12 million company and totally enjoyed it. And then in March of this last year, I retired from the corporate space to create my own company, which is Revive and Thrive Women, where I help support women like you recover and prevent burnout. I'm a firm believer that women have the power to be cycle breakers. And what I mean by that is a lot of us have seen this lineage of stress that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Like I saw my mom stressed out, she saw her mom stressed out. And so for me, like I wanted to break that cycle so that my daughter gets to see a really strong and regulated and powerful mom. So that's something that kind of sets me apart from other burnout specialists out there. Anyways, to come back to the anti-stress routine and how it applied. So when I was a VP in corporate, I used to run a 7 a.m. conference call with our entire executive sales team, who were all men, who were all much older than me. And I literally used to dread that conference call. My alarm would go off. I would like snooze the alarm until it was 6:55. I would like crawl to my office because I was working from home. So like my bed is right there. I would crawl to the office, log in, and run this conference call that was not that great because I was still waking up. And that was like a cycle that I had on repeat. So luckily, I realized that that wasn't in integrity with who I was, because I wanted to continue to grow in my career. And I couldn't do that if I was waking up 5 minutes before I started work. So I started to shift some things around. I started to create a morning routine. And this has been something that I've now had for years. Now, for any of you who are here who are moms, let me know in the chat, Devin. I know you're a mama and you've got a little one at home. And when you become a mom, it becomes much harder to implement and stick to a morning routine, because now you have a little one who wakes up sometimes at all hours of the night and then early in the morning. And so the one thing I will say is that I have prioritized having a morning routine even through being a mom. And now, honestly, it's so much more important to me. Every single morning before my daughter wakes up, I get outside, I take my dog for a walk by the lake. I'm really lucky to live at a recreational lake. And this is something that I do every single day. And it is a non-negotiable. Even on the nights where my little one doesn't sleep. So like last night, my daughter was up at 3:30 in the morning. She's going through some type of sleep regression, which I feel like they're always going through a sleep regression. And this morning I was like, I really don't want to get out of bed, but I still did my morning walk, because I know that I show up as a better version of myself when I have taken care of myself first. And that's really what I want to talk about today. So regardless on if you're a mother or not, I think if you're a mother, this is like 1,000 times important, because oftentimes when we don't have a morning routine established, we're waking up to tend to somebody else before we've even tended to ourselves. And that can create a lot of disconnection with self. It can create a lot of stress. It can create a lot of anxiety because we haven't really tapped in. We just got up and ran into our day full speed ahead. And a lot of the women I talk to, they tell me about what their mornings look like. And it's like, they wake up, their feet are on the floor, they're running to the kids, they're chugging the coffee, they're rushing. There's like yelling going on in the house. It's super chaotic. They're out the door. And then by the time they get to work, they're already so stressed out. And then a lot of the women that I work with have really high stress jobs. And so that isn't conducive. And so a hard truth that we have to realize is that if you do not have a morning routine established, especially if you have a high stress job, which honestly, whose job is not stressful these days, you are setting yourself up for failure. And I say that with so much love because today we're going to clean it up. Okay. So where we're headed today is I'm going to give you a simple exercise, and I am going to have you start thinking about, your morning routine, what you can include, what you can start to add. And I'm going to give you some options and examples. The biggest mistake that I see from women when they're trying to establish some type of routine in the morning is they try to go like way too big. They're like, okay, I'm going to drink my lemon water, do meditation, do yoga. They have like 10 things. And I'm like, this is never going to stick. So today we're going to start small, because this is how we create new habits, is that we choose to do things that are attainable. And then once we perfect those, or not perfect, once we establish those things, then we can start habit stacking. So my morning routine right now has, I think, 3 or 4 things included. But when I started, it was just one thing. So now I move my body, I get outside, I do them at the same time. So I get to like knock 2 birds with 1 stone. I drink my green juice in the morning. I have my water with apple cider vinegar. And like, those are the things that I'm doing consistently. When I started, it was just one thing. And then ever since, like, as I have one thing established, I habit stack, which if you haven't heard what habit stacking is, it's from the book Atomic Habits, which I would totally recommend. And it's basically this idea of, if you want to implement a new habit, you stack it on a habit that you've already established. So what I'm going to invite you into today is to think about that. Like, what habits do you already have established in the morning, if any? Most of you are probably brushing your teeth, I'm going to guess. So like, that's an example of something that's probably already established. Maybe some of you have one habit that you have in the morning. Maybe you do meditate in the morning for 5 minutes. So if you want to implement something else, you can stack it on that habit. Let me know if this is making sense. I'm going to check out the comments. Okay, good. All right. So the exercise, ladies, for today that I want you to do is, first of all, have a piece of paper and a pen for all of these trainings. I'm going to do 1 a week, or 1 a day for this week. I want you to write down what your morning looks like right now. And then I want you to write down how you feel in the morning. And the feeling part is so important, and I'm going to share with you why. So oftentimes when we're going through these types of exercises, we're not thinking about the way that we feel and the way that we want to feel. But when it comes to creating new habits, if you want to do it in a way that sticks, you have to think about the feeling part. And when you think about that, it actually starts to create a connection in your brain with what you want, how you want to feel, and then you're more likely to do that thing. So for example, right now, if you know that your morning routine is that it's chaotic, so you wake up and like you tend to others and you're out the door and you're to work and like it's just like that. First of all, let's not have any judgment. It's okay. As if you've worked with me before, if you are one of my students, you know that I always ask you to build awareness around these things without the judgment and without the shaming, because that's not super helpful at all. So no judgment on what your mornings look like right now. Just build your awareness. Okay. So write that down. The second thing I want you to write down is how you feel. So think about how you feel in the morning. Think about how you feel when you're walking out the door. If you leave your house to work, if you're like me and you work from home, like think about what you feel like when you sit down at work to log in. If you're having a really chaotic morning because your routine is that it's just like give to everybody else except for yourself, then I'm going to guess that when you sit down at your computer, you already feel a little bit exhausted. You already feel a little bit depleted, and you haven't even connected again with yourself before you start working for somebody else. One of the things I like to say is like, work for yourself before you log in to work for somebody else. And the work that you do for yourself is grounding, and like whatever that looks like for you, that's important. So those are the 2 things that I want you to write down. And again, this is growing awareness. If you want to make changes in your life, the very first step is that you have to grow awareness around the things that you want. and you have to grow awareness around the way that things are. If you have no awareness around it, then things are not going to change. So now that you've written that down, take a look at it and ask yourself, like, is there any upgrades available? Is that what you want? Do you have a great morning routine and things are good? Could you upgrade it a little bit? Or is your morning routine super chaotic and you know that you need like a total rehaul, like it needs to be thrown out, like new things established? You can let me know in the chat if you want to share. And again, if you're watching this today on replay, put replay in here. And so the second part of this is to write down what you want. And sometimes it's hard to think about the actual things that you want, but it's not so hard to think of the feeling that you want. So let's start there. How do you want to feel when you start your job? What are some things that you would like to feel? Would you like to feel calm? Would you like to feel grounded? Would you like to feel clear? Would you like to feel confident? Would you like to feel all of the above? Like, how amazing would that be? So start to think about how you want to feel, and then we can reverse engineer and figure out what needs to happen in order for you to feel that way. So if you are here live, put in the chat what one word is that you want to feel, and then from that place, we can start to reverse engineer. And I'll give you some of my own personal wants. Like when I started to look at this, what I really wanted when I approached my computer to log in for that 7 a.m. conference call is I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to feel confident in my ability to lead my team. It was something that I struggled with so much because, again, I was the only female on the executive team. I was the youngest by far. A lot of the men that I worked with did not like that they were managed by a younger woman, and some of them made that really clear. And so I started to feel like really not very confident at all. And I didn't want that. So when I looked at what I wanted to establish as a morning routine, I thought, okay, what is going to allow me to feel confident when I start this conference call? And little like note about that is that when I did start to do that and when I did start to feel confident, my relationship to my colleagues strengthened so much because they saw me. They saw me for who I was, which was a leader. And I did have the ability to lead them despite my age, despite my gender. And so this one thing, ladies, that you're doing today can be so impactful. So I just want you to know that. So, Devin, you mentioned that you want to be calm, intentional, and patient. I love all of those things. So let's work with calm, because when you're calm, you're going to be more intentional. And when you're calm, you're going to be more patient. So that one thing is going to trickle down into the others. So now that you have your feeling for you, Devin, and for anyone else who's here, write that down, right? I want to feel calm when I log into work. That's what I want. That's what I want to feel. So now we can start thinking about what are some things that you can start to do in the morning to feel calm when you get to work. And I'm going to give you some examples. And again, my advice, ladies, is just pick one or two things. I'm going to give you a ton of examples. Don't grab all of them. Don't be like, yeah, that one, because like, again, we want this to be something that is effective and we want it to be something that sticks. So if you want to feel calm, then you want to speak to your nervous system and you want to speak to the connection that you have with yourself when you wake up in the morning. A lot of the women who have worked with me in my Burnout to Breakthrough program, after we've done this like deep dive into this first module, which is all around routine setting, anti-stress routines, building a resilient foundation, like a lot of what we have, they've gotten on the other side have been practices like 5-minute meditation to start with. So meditation is a really great place to start. If you have a practice that's already been built up, which Devin, yes, I knew you had one. I remember from our conversation. So Devin is one of the students that will be joining this round of Burnout to Breakthrough. So I already know a little bit about her from our call. So I remember that. So meditation is a really great way to start your day. It's a really great way to create calm because when you meditate, you purify your mind. And what creates chaos in our day, most often our mind, right? It's the one that's like spinning and anxiety and like all the thoughts and the worries and the fears. And so if you can start your day with some meditation and purify your mind, like that's going to be a great thing to do. So Devin, since this is already a habit for you, now you can stack something else on top of that. For those of you who have tried meditation and it feels a little bit scary or it feels a little bit unattainable, I would recommend starting with guided meditations, and you can find free guided meditations on an app called Insight Timer. It's a really great way to start. I know that the first time I did a meditation, I was trained in meditation many years ago. And in my training, like the first time that I sat down to meditate, it was like a 25-minute sit. And on the other side of that 25 minutes, I was like, I never want to do that again. Like, I felt like my thoughts were like all in my face, and like, it was super intimidating. And I remember thinking like, how the hell am I going to teach people to do this if it feels so impossible for me to do? So if you've tried meditation and it feels that way, it's okay. It happens. Just keep practicing, and you can start small with guided meditations that are like 5 minutes. So meditation is a great thing to do. Other options, if you're looking to create calm in your day, then we want to speak again to the nervous system. So breath work is a great thing to include into your day, into your morning. In the Burnout to Breakthrough program, every single module, there's 6 of them, I go through different breathwork practices. It's a huge part of what I teach, because your breath is the fastest way for you to connect back to your body. It's the fastest way for you to downregulate your nervous system. If you are in a stressful situation, you can feel calm within 60 seconds by manipulating your breath, which is really awesome. So breathwork practices are a great thing to add in to the morning. If you have a super high stress job and you know that the minute you open your laptop, it's going to be like fire, 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 then I would highly recommend that you include breath work into your morning routine. Movement is another great example of something that you can do to help to regulate your nervous system. There's all different types of movement. So if you're looking for something that's a little more chill, you can go for a walk in the morning. You can do some yoga in the morning. You can do some restorative yoga in the morning. You can do 10 minutes of legs up the wall. I mean, there's so many options of things that you can do. And the great thing about this, ladies, is that you don't need anything to do these things. You just need yourself. And that's another huge part of what I teach, is like turning in to access the power that you have within you, instead of trying to reach outside of ourselves. You know, we do that often, like, oh, I need to like reach outside of myself to be happy. I need to reach outside of myself to feel this way. I need to like, unfortunately in our society, we're really programmed to believe that like everything we need is outside so that we buy. But honestly, everything that you need is right within you. And so if you notice all of these things that I am offering to you as morning anti-stress routines, like they're all within you. Meditate, breath work, movement. Like you don't need anything to do these things. The insight timer is nice, but you don't need it. So other options, morning affirmations. So affirmations are statements that you say that affirm the positive that you want to pour your energy into. And I'll give you a little example. A lot of times we are actually affirming negative things. And what I mean by that is like, how often do you think in your head, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough help. I don't have enough support. I don't have enough, enter word here. I catch myself all the time still, right? So when we think those things, we create a scarce reality. And the scary thing is that our thoughts are very powerful. The things that we think become the way that we decide to do things and the way that we decide to take action. If we don't think we have enough time, we're less likely to go after things that we want, because it's a barrier of like, I don't have enough time to do that. And that will change your life for the worse, typically. So starting today, start affirming in the morning the things that you want. I have enough time. I have enough love. I have enough support. I have enough money. Even if you don't believe them as you're stating them, just state them over and over and over, and your life will change, because you will start to take action on that new belief system, versus the belief system that you have ingrained right now is that you don't have enough money and you don't have enough time and you don't have enough insert word here. So morning affirmations are another beautiful thing to incorporate into your morning. So I have just given you a few to choose from. And by all means, if these don't sound cool, like choose your own. But what you're looking for is something that's going to create calm. So something that speaks to your body. Movement, breath work, meditation. The affirmations, that's more like neuroscience related, because you're rewiring your brain to believe the things that you want. This is a huge part of what I go into in the 3rd module in Burnout to Breakthrough. So on day 3, which will be on Wednesday, I'm going to talk more about this. So come back. But anyways, it's also really helpful to establish that into your morning routine. So this is how you're going to create your anti-stress routine starting tomorrow. tomorrow. So you've got the exercise questions, right? What does your morning routine look like right now? How do you feel in the mornings? What do you want to feel in the mornings? And how can you establish a morning routine that supports that? So take this, play around with it, figure out what feels good. Another thing that I will say, ladies, that I think is so important, and I do want to leave you with this, is that you can have some flexibility around this. I work with women who tend to be a certain type. And what I mean by that is like high achiever, perfectionist, type A. We do tend to be the types that burn out because we're overworking and we're go, 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 go. I've also seen these women have really strict boundaries around their morning routine, meaning like it has to happen every day. And if it doesn't, I'm a failure. And like, let that go. It's okay to have some flexibility around it. Just consistent as much as possible. So there are some days where my daughter is up all night and that's a lie. I still get outside, but maybe I don't do one of the other things. Getting outside to me is like, I have to. I will like give my baby to my husband and like walk out the door in the morning because I just have to get outside. So that's actually something that I do every single day, no matter what, even if I'm on vacation, like even if I'm traveling. But there are some other things that I'm more flexible about. Like sometimes my apple cider vinegar water doesn't happen, and that's okay. So I just want to leave you with that, because again, like sometimes we put ourselves in this box of like everything has to be perfect or it doesn't count. And that's not true. You know, when you do your morning routine in the morning and you feel good and like you have a day that's supported by calm, that feels good. And if it doesn't happen the next day, then we get to practice grace and know that that's okay. The result of it is that you're probably going to have a more stressful day. So then you get to look at your results and think calm, stress, what do I want? Calm. Okay. Do that more consistent. So have some grace with yourself. It's okay if it's not perfect. There is no perfection. There is only practice. Okay. So let me know what you think, in the comments, and let me know how this is landing for you. This is going to be a wrap up of day one. So you've got some exercises, you've got some things to consider. Your homework is going to be to figure out what you want your morning routine to look like, and then come back and write a post in this group and say like, my anti-stress routine is going to be this, and share with everybody, because then we can get some ideas of what you ladies are doing, and it will inspire the other ladies in this group as well. So this is day one of the Antistress Summit. I have posted what is going to be going down the next few days. So there's day 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is all a lead up to my program, Burnout to Breakthrough, that is happening on Saturday. Devin, I'm so excited for you. You are already in, you are already enrolled. You have been practicing amazing studentship. You have been showing up to all the things. I'm so proud of you. So I can't wait to see you. And ladies, if you are interested in learning more about that program, definitely reach out to me and let's talk, because it happens on Saturday and we will start with or without you. Okay, so the program is 6 months. As I mentioned, every single day this week, I'm going to go through what I'm teaching, like little bite-sized pieces. So if you like what you learned today, we go 1,000 times deeper in the actual program. We spend an entire month on building a resilient foundation. And on the other side of that month, you're going to know how to take care of yourself before you step into work. You're going to know what you can do when things get stressful so that you don't have a freak out. It's my dog. You're going to know what to do when you start to feel triggered at work so that you can downregulate. All of these things are foundational things that you have to learn how to do if you want to be a woman who doesn't allow work stress to run your life. Like they just have to happen. So we spend an entire month on these things. And then tomorrow, what we're going to go through in the Anti-Stress Summit is, actually, let me just look here so that I say it correctly, is we're going to talk all about regulating your nervous system. And we're also going to talk about strengthening your relationship to yourself. So that's where we're headed from here. Again, come back tomorrow if you enjoyed today. I will also put a link to a connection call in the comments of this video so that if you would like to connect with me, it's really easy to do so. You just click on that link. If you can't find a time that works, just reach out to me. We're at the final sprint here of the last week, and I want to make sure I can connect with you. So just let me know if you don't see a time on there that works. Okay. I hope you ladies enjoyed day one of the Anti-Stress Summit. definitely come back and let me know what you create for yourself, what anti-stress routine you create for yourself. I will see you all tomorrow. Stay tuned, set your notifications on so that you know when I go live tomorrow, so that you get to be a part of it. And I'm sending all of you so much love, so much calm in the rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye-bye, everybody.